Welcome back, book nerds. Like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. This is Rhythm of War Part 2, the Stormlight reread. So, if you haven't seen Part 1, go watch my video, Part 1. Now, Part 2. So, we have a few interlude chapters here between the two parts, and that's what always happens. But the interlude chapters are very important. So, we start with Syl. Syl goes to Dalinar to talk to him about Kaladin, about his mental issues, about Dalinar's oath pacts, about how Dalinar connects things, worlds, ideas. In the second interlude, we get a lot more world building. We get ominous Odium stuff, laws that bound Odium. If you didn't know, Odium, when he came to Roshar, the other two shards that were already here were fearful of Odium because Odium destroys shards, so they bound him to the sister world. Okay, there are things in this chapter that really tie to the before chapters, the in-between chapters between the books that aren't really talked about. So there are things that are hinted at. Interlude 3 is a Taravangian chapter. And what Taravangian is doing here is pretty messed up. Taravangian isn't an amazing person. He's not a good person. Okay, the first chapter that we get is Shallan Vale in Radiant. Shallan and all her personalities. And they're really dealing with the spy plotline. And the spy plotline is going to be the big thing that Shallan is doing throughout the book. And it will start slow and begin to build and get better and better. But also it's prepping Shadesmar. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Next, we have the epigraph, and this seems to be connected to Dawn Shard. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, but I think this part of the story is really connected to Dawn Shard. So, Adolin and Shallan really show a fun side of their relationship here. There are aspects to this relationship that I just don't quite get. They are very open with each other about things that they've done, and they've both done some pretty crappy things. Each of the other person, it seems to be okay with the crap that they've done. You know, Adolin murdering people and Shallan with stealing stuff from Yazda and everything. So, and they seem to be okay with it. So there are musings online, if you will, about Adolin, about what his future is going to be, if he's going to end up being Odium's champion or not. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that, but I'd be curious to know what you think. We really get some good stuff now with Adolin murdering a certain somebody in a dark alley, man. But it's Adolin's response to this that is way over the top. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So here in chapter 22, we are in Shadesmar with the different types of sprint. Pattern shows up and wraps her arms around Shallan and Adolin, wishing that she could have real arms to hold them with. And it's just, I added this here just because I like the scene. Here the spy plot line intensifies. It gets stronger and stronger, and it's going to keep doing this. Now we're back with Kaladin. He is a surgeon. Tef has decided to stay with Kaladin, which I like that Tef stayed with Kaladin because Kaladin needed that support. He needed somebody from Bridge 4 to be with him. It's good for the story. It's good for Kaladin's character. It's good for his mental health to have someone that he could talk to. Okay, chapter 24, we're back with Shallan, Adolin, more spy stuff. Not a lot happens, it's just more investigating with the spy stuff. And as much as I like Shallan's character and Adolin's character, I just don't like them together. There's something about it that rubs me the wrong way. I don't quite understand what it is. And I have to come to terms with that. Unless Brendan does something horrible to Adolin, those two are an item. And it's just, I just gotta come to terms with it. That's a funny thing. You know, Adolin wasn't supposed to be a major character. Brandon had no intention of giving him his own chapters. But as he got into the Way of Kings, he really started to develop Adolin as a character and decided that he's just going to make him a major character and give him his own chapters. Okay, chapter 25, Kaladin is looking for the individual. And also, that Cal is realizing that he has no idea how to handle these soldiers that are coming into his surgery. Soldiers that have PTSD and some with battle shock, and that he just doesn't quite know what to do with them. Next, we have Shallan pushing Ishna and kind of accidentally funds crime. Whoops. Then more spy stuff. So much spy stuff. Okay, so next we have Navani chapters, and this chapter is really basically prepping things to come. There's several chapters like that in Rhythm of War. Chapters that are just setting up things that Brandon is going to do later. It's prepping Navani's point of view, but it's also setting up Dalinar's point of view. Okay, now we have more communications between Navani and the strange entity. If you remember the strange communication back in part 1, that's what this is. Some back and forth between Mia and Adolin, and then the Spren from Oathbringer have come back. And when you see their exile, you really get to see just how difficult this mission was. Now everyone's getting ready to go to Yurthiru, and you just know that this is not going to go well. Okay, now we're going to dive into Adolin's character, and you really get the pressure that is on his shoulders. Not just the pressure to get the mission done, but the pressure of his father, of Dalinar's approval or disapproval of Adolin, because Dalinar has not always been a great father. In fact, you could admit that he's been a pretty crappy father. And the only reason he liked Adolin at all was because he was a soldier and he understands soldiers. That's why he was drawn to Kaladin so much. But his own son, he really didn't connect with. And so he's kind of a crappy father. Okay, so we get more evidence now of who the spy is. And it kind of turns your direction to Pattern. You think Pattern is a spy. Adolin clearly has so much pressure to get the mission job, to get the job done. They need more honor spren for the Windrunners. But also, he doesn't want to let his father down. That's like his driving force, is to get approval from Dalinar, and it is so frustrating. You want to yell at Dalinar, just give your kid a damn hug already, man. You tell him that you're proud of him. Okay, chapter 37 is deep with tension. More Cal's point of view, mental stuff coming up. His father is trying to pull him away from all the depressive soldiers. It's just trying to get him away from anything to do with the army. Cal is a soldier, and he knows it. He's not a surgeon, he's a soldier, but his father doesn't want to face it. Kaladin is fighting wars in his mind, debating what he should do. If he should seek help for his mental illness or not, or just accept it. Kaladin wants to spend time with the injured soldiers and not worry about himself. He is a soldier at heart. That's what he wants to be. He wants to help people. He's always wanted to help people. His father can't see it. Okay, in chapter 39, Kaladin tries to use his power again, and he has no power. It's just gone. And it's an upsetting scene, because he wants it so badly. He's really in a bad place. He dives deeper into his depression. Navani is trying to get help. She's trying to get people to help her, and no one will help her. Now, Lirin, Kaladin's father, is really starting to sound like an a-hole to his son, because he comes to Kaladin and says, none of this would be happening to you if you were just help people. Even when you were a slave, if you would just help people, you would be in a different situation altogether. So everything that is happening to you is your fault. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? All Kaladin ever did was trying to help people. He has people dying on his bridge crew. And he's digging up herbs. He's trying to keep people alive. No one else gave a about what he was doing but him. And he kept those people alive. And they love him for it. All he did was try and help people. I'm sorry. What? Is this book just full of fathers? I mean, like, are you kidding me? Once Tef was taken, that was it for Kaladin. He decided that he needed to do something different. Kaladin has honor. He has oath just like his father. He took oaths. His father took oaths, but Kaladin took oaths, and he can't turn his back on them. This is why Kaladin is better than Moash. Right here. Okay, this is the end of part 2. I will put up part 3 probably next week. Read fantasy.